What's up? It's your boy Bo Nappy back with another Be Advised. Today we are going to go into the work advice column on Reddit. Still advice, still Reddit, but I figured since it's Wednesday, at least it'll be Wednesday when I'm dropping this. We'll hump day. We'll do some work advice. So this is people who have jobs. I'm assuming asking about advice at work, and me who have worked a billion jobs, a billion and a half jobs, and will probably have 2 billion and a half jobs by the time I'm up out of here. Um, I'm gonna offer my 2 cents. So without further ado, let's get to it. Boss just told me to do your effing job. Mm. I desperately need advice on how to handle a truly toxic work situation. Background: I'm a head of ops slash GM, ops being operations, um, slash GM in California. I'm assuming that's California. Been with the company for 5 years. I've been working 7 days straight. My only other office employee just quit. The 10th time this has happened in my tenure. Okay. Leaving me completely alone again. I've been actively interviewing and expect to hear back on a new job offer early this week. My foot is already out the door. Okay. The incident today is the seventh day in a row of working. My boss walked into my office um, to question a guest dispute. When I explained I didn't have time for a call and sent an email instead, he screamed, "Do your effing job." Ooh, okay. Politely, I asked him, "Please don't talk to me like that." His response: "I can talk to you however the f I want to." Okay. Your boss he wants smoke. Okay. I didn't respond. At that point, I couldn't take it anymore. I left work immediately and canceled my 3 p.m. meeting for our team. My dilemma: what do I do now? Give 2 weeks notice today without knowing if I get the new job yet. Wait until early next week to put in the notice after I know I got the new job, but this means enduring this environment longer. Quit today, file for unemployment, and explore a hostile work environment claim. A coworker was present and can corroborate this verbal abuse. I'm completely burned out at this latest incident. I'm completely burned out, and this latest incident was the final straw. What's the best move to protect myself financially and professionally? Thanks for the help. So we'll start with the financial question. You've been working at this job for 5 years. I would hope you have at least a few months worth of money saved up. Um, if you have at least 4 to 5 months worth of like money saved up for bills and all that stuff, I would just leave. It sounds like this place isn't the best. It has trouble holding on to employees, which typically is not as uncommon as you think. But your boss is definitely crossing a line talking to you crazy like that. Um, do your effing job. Um, you know, that's definitely out of line. And then they're saying they'll talk to you however if they want to talk to you. Yeah, I wouldn't go back in there. Me personally, I don't know if I have the capability to keep my cool with someone talking crazy to me like that. I think you handled the situation well by just leaving after your boss basically doubled down on the inappropriate talk. Um, but if I were you, I mean, I would just call it. Maybe don't even resign. Just no call, no show for a few days. See if your boss contacts you. If they contact you and apologize and try to make right out of a wrong, I say you go back and work a little longer until you get that other job nailed in. But if not, I think you quit, file for unemployment, and you try to nail down that other job. I don't think they're toxic work environments, especially you got your boss talking to you like that. Um, to me. And then, again, I don't know how much you make. It sounds like you probably, if you're a GM or head of operations, you probably make a good amount of money. You don't want to subject yourself you don't want to subject yourself to that any longer. He or she could provoke you into doing something that would have legal implications negatively on you. I would just leave. Me personally, if you have enough money, like for 3 to 4 or 5 months saved up, I would just leave and focus on finding a new opportunity. Talking crazy, ain't he? Uh, ooh, I like this. Um, every time my big boss comes to the company, he always asks, "Are you happy?" What should I reply? It's a small company of about 10 people in a small city. Um, that the big boss invested, bought in a site project. Every time he visits, he asks me, "Are you happy?" I've only been there for 3 months, but I feel like everyone likes me and the company wants to invest in my growth. Still, it's a little strange that he asks me the same question every time. All I can really say is yes, I'm happy and everything is good. But it makes me wonder if he's expecting something more. I don't want to miss I don't want to miss this chance to grow, but I have nothing else to say, and I am truly happy with what they are offering right now. Or am I reading it totally wrong? Is he not satisfied with my work? And it's sorry, what I'm really trying to figure out is whether there's another answer that would help me stand out more and achieve greater growth. Okay, so you're kind of asking a few different things. Okay, so as far as the greater growth thing, um, asking any questions about the future of the company, where you think we're headed, how do you think I can help us grow? Your boss asking you, "Are you happy?" I would look at that as more of an icebreaker and a courtesy call. But if you're worried about growing in the company, let your boss know that you want to grow in the company. It's really not that difficult. Let them know that you really enjoy this job and this opportunity, and you really want to maximize that and take on a bigger role. And talk about ways that you can take on a bigger role, that you can become a bigger part or a bigger piece of the company that you're in. Now, as far as um, are you happy on like an emotional level, like I said, you're a very small company, so it's probably more of a family style work environment. Your boss might just be making sure that you're happy with the company because it's small and he just wants to make sure that everyone's bought in. So I wouldn't read too much into it. I feel like if your boss was not satisfied with your work, they would let you know in other ways that you're not working well enough. So asking, "Are you happy?" every time that he comes, I don't. I wish there was more detail. I mean, how often does your boss come to the company? Is it every day? Is it once a week? Is it 3 times a year? The frequency I think would really matter a lot with this. But overall, I would say don't think too much into it. If you want a bigger role in the company, let them know that you want to be a bigger part of the company. Um, there's never a bad time to tell your employer that you want to do more for them. So, all right, we'll do one more. Uh, what other- uh, okay. This one's a little too short. Let's see. Me to say that he doesn't believe I was sick. Oh, okay. Interesting. So yesterday, my boss asked me in the office, My boss called me in the office and had a talk with me. He said that I call out of work every single Monday, or that he believe he could I call out every single Monday, and that he believes I'm either partying too much, and too hungover to come into work, having boyfriend problems, or having depression. Mind you, I have called out 3 times out of the spread, 3 times spread out over 7 months, because I was sick. COVID one time, general flu another, and one time I just needed a mental health day, but that's valid. So you called out twice because you were sick, and once because you didn't feel like working. Okay. So one real call out. Um, I was late twice because my cat was throwing up, and I'm not going to leave puke everywhere. Okay, so you have 2 tardies and 3 absences. I had to clean it. He said he's never heard of a cat throwing up, which is like, that's kind of what they do. That's kind of weird, yeah. So basically, he backed me in a corner demanding another explanation. So I said, it's the end of the school year. I work at a school, but not for the school. Okay. Um, and maybe burnout is setting in, but that's nothing to do with anything. He said that he doesn't even believe that, and he's never had burnout before, so obviously I'm lying. Okay, what are we talking about here? Then he proceeds to say that I need to learn how to be honest with myself, and if I can't do that, how can I even be honest with him? And they're looking to lay people off, so if I want my job, I need to really consider everything he's saying. Okay. I don't know what it is about my looks um, or what, but I feel very discriminated against. He just called me a drunk party girl with boy issues and depression. Oh, and a liar. Um, it almost feels like he's trying to push me to quit so he doesn't have to fire me, especially since my review is coming up and I'm entitled. Yep, I'm entitled to a raise. He's completely unhappy with my performance and said he's completely happy with my performance and said I'm a great worker though. So is he really allowed to say what? Is he really allowed to one say those things, to use that as grounds to fire me? Okay, this one's a little loaded, and we're already close to 15 minutes, so I'm gonna try to be quick. Whew. Okay, so for starters, it sounds like the company might be going through some financial issues. So if you are a high wage worker, um, they might be trying to squeeze you out the door if they feel like they can do the day to day without you. A lot of companies, when they lay people off, they typically don't lay off a ton of the what I call grunt workers, or the workers that are 100% production based. They lay off managers. They lay off managers and corporate workers and people who don't really touch day to day production. Those people typically cost a lot more money, and they honestly aren't really felt as much when they are let go. So this could be an instance of your boss trying to pressure you, or neg you is a term that was used back when I was doing sales work, where they'll try to basically tell you a bunch of negative stuff in order to discourage you from coming into work or make you quit. Now, as far as all of the stuff, as far as you missing work, and all that stuff, that's neither here nor there. I don't know what your attendance policy is, but I would read up on that. And the next time your boss tries to lecture you about your life, pull up the attendance policy and go over it with him. You should have had some sort of employee manual. So I don't know. I don't understand why all of a sudden your boss feels like they need to lecture you about attendance. Your 2 sick days. Sick days now are taken a lot more seriously after COVID than they were before COVID. Your mental health day, that just sounds like you didn't want to work, and then being late for the cats. um, you know, it's not the best. I would say it's not the best stretch for 7 months. I would typically say you kind of want to not have any absences or tardies for the first year. But hope, but life happens. To answer your questions, um, I don't think it's appropriate for your boss to surmise anything about your personal life. He shouldn't be commenting on what he thinks you're doing outside of work, hypothetical boyfriends, hypothetical partying, any of that stuff. No, that is not appropriate at all. Um, so that's not appropriate at all. Um, in the least, I don't know what you want to do with that information, but that's definitely not appropriate at all for anyone who's dealing with something like that. If it's nothing, he can question you about your absences, but I don't think he can. I don't think your boss can basically assume and put things on you that there's no proof of. I think that's crossing boundaries there. Two is that ground use. Two use that grounds to fire me. So typically, just that alone, no. If they haven't written you up before, two things. One, are you in an at will employment state? If you're in at will employment, they can just fire you just cause. Um, but if the company is looking to lay people off, if that's true, um, they probably don't want to fire people and let them get unemployment either. So they're going to start writing you up if they really want to squeeze you and get you out the door. Because if they just fire you with no write-ups and no documentation, then they you can get unemployment. So I would just play it by ear. I would definitely set boundaries where they need to be set in terms of telling your boss that this is inappropriate and all that kind of stuff. Um, Definitely read up on your attendance policy, but definitely sounds like an employer that you don't want to work for in the near future. Maybe look for another opportunity. But that's it. Went over time. Let me know what you guys think about these work situations. I'm out. Peace.